Hi, welcome back to PSLE Math Model Drawing. Today we are going to continue with our model drawing for Primary 3 and Primary 4. So let's look at problem 1 to see how do we draw out the problem. So Ryan had 7 times as many rulers as pencils at first. Ryan then sold 36 rulers and bought another 36 pencils. He had the same number of rulers and pencils in the end. Now there's something important over here, which is the same number of pencils and rulers. Now when you see the same number, right, you have something called the equal concept, right, the same concept. So which means that when you draw the model, you will need a dotted line, right, a dotted line to show the equal concept. So later you will see how to draw the dotted line. So how many pencils did Ryan have at first? And how many rulers did Ryan have in the end? Alright, so this is a before and after problem. So which means that you may have two sets of model, before model and the after model, or you can also put the two models together as one. So it all depends on how you want to draw the model. So let's look at the first sentence and how do we draw. Now you have the model at first, which is the before model. So Ryan had 7 times as many rulers as pencils at first. So you draw a rectangle and you cut into 7 times or 7 boxes. And the pencils will be 1 box. Alright, so this is your before model, and then Ryan then sold 36 rulers and he bought another 36 pencils. So I'm going to put the two models together like this. So you have the after model together with the before model. So how do we draw the after model? Now in the end, he had the same number or equal number of rulers and pencil. So I'm going to just use a dotted line to cut anywhere, right? Anywhere to show the equal in the end. Maybe something like this. Alright, so you will see that how many rulers were sold? He sold 36 rulers. So this is your 36 rulers that were gone. Alright, 36 rulers that were sold. Or maybe I should use the word sold. Right, 36 sold. And then he bought another 36. Right, another 36 pencils. Right, so well, it's not proportional. Right, if you look at the model, you can see that it's not very accurate. Because 36 and 36, they are equal, right? So you should be having two equal parts, two equal rectangles. But it doesn't matter, because if you label everything correctly and clearly, you can still solve. So this will be the 36 pencils that were sold. And then how many pencils did Ryan have at first? So your question mark is to find, right, is to find this. Alright, this is the question mark. And how many rulers did Ryan have in the end? Which is to find this one. Okay, and that's your question mark, and your model is done. Alright, so how do you use the model to solve? Well, you can see that all the boxes are called 1 unit. So every box, you can call it 1 unit each. And then what do you do next? You look at the model and you find the difference, right, between the rulers and the pencils. So you can see that this is the difference, right? How many more rulers than pencils at first, right? Which is 36 plus 36. That will give you 72, right? So you have 72 more rulers than pencils at first. And that is how many units? That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 units more pencils than 6 units more rulers than pencils, which is also equal to 72. So your 1 unit will be 72 divided by 6. Your 1 unit is equal to 12. So how many pencils did Ryan have at first? Which is your answer, 12. Right, you can see that it's very fast to get the steps once you focus on the model drawing. And then how many rulers did Ryan have in the end? Well, so you have to be very careful. It is not 5 units, but you have to find how many rulers at first, which is 7 units. Right, there are 7 units of rulers at first. So you take 12 times 7, and you will get 84 rulers at first. And then he sold 36 rulers. So you take 84 and you minus 36. That will give you how many rulers in the end. So 84 minus 36, and you will get 48 rulers in the end. And that's how you solve part B. So you can see the problem is not very hard to solve. It's actually quite simple if you know how to draw the dotted line to show the equal concept. So when do I use the dotted line? When I see the same number, right, or equal number, then I will have the dotted line, which is very important in model drawing lessons. Alright, so let's go on to question number 2. And Judy and Ben had a total of 150 stickers. Ben and Eugene had a total of 160 stickers. and then Eugene had 4 times as many as Judy. How many stickers did Ben have? Alright, now for this kind of problem, you can see there's a repeated person, right? Judy and Ben. So Ben is the repeated person, and then Ben and Eugene. So when you see a question like this, alright, then what kind of model, or how do you draw the model? Well, there's a repeated person, and both Judy and Ben, they share a rectangle. They have a rectangle together. So I'm going to put the repeated person in front, and then Judy at the back, and they share a rectangle. So I call it model sharing. Alright, so these two persons share 2 boxes. So the first part belongs to Ben. The first part is always, I would like to always make it a bit shorter for the first part. And then these 2 persons, they share a total of 115 stickers. And then you have Ben and Eugene. So same person again, and this time the rectangle will be longer because they have a bigger total. So their total is bigger, which is 160, and same person, which is Ben. So I will draw the equal parts again. So you can see that there's something like equal concept over here. So you have the same person, so you have 2 equal parts. Okay, alright, and then Eugene had 4 times as many as Judy. So where's Eugene? Eugene is the longer part over here. So this is Eugene's rectangle, and he has 4 times, and let's call it 4 units. And then Judy has this rectangle here, and let's call it 1 time, which is 1 unit. So do I need to erase and draw again because I want to cut into 4 boxes? You don't need to erase. You don't need to cut into 4 boxes. If you cannot cut into 4 boxes because it's not proportional, then you just put the units inside the model, right? 4 units, 1 unit, and you can still solve. So how many stickers did Ben have? And your question mark is over here. So this kind of model, alright, this kind of model, I will call it the model sharing. What is that? It means that 2 persons share a rectangle. This model can also apply to questions that have container and contents. For example, if the problem has something like the basket that contains 36 eggs has a mass of so many kg, and then the same basket that contain maybe 12 eggs has so many kg. So that kind of question will be something similar to this. So you draw the model, which is your model sharing. Alright, you draw something like this for those kind of questions. Alright, so how do we find the question mark? So you look at the model, and one of the ways to solve by looking at the model is to look for the difference. So you may always want to look at the difference to see whether you can find any difference. Yeah, I can find 3 units. 4 unit minus 1 unit, that will be 3 units. And 3 units is also the same as how many? Which is the total mass of Ben and Eugene, and you minus the total mass of Ben and Judy, and you get the same difference, which is 45 kg. So your 1 unit will be 45 divided by 3, so your 1 unit is 15 kg. So now you can solve already. So what is Ben's mass? Or how many stickers did Ben have? So you look at this 1 unit, which is 15, right? And so Ben must have how many stickers? So you take 115 and you minus 15, and Ben has 100 stickers, which is over here, and below will also be the same person. So you will also get the same answer. So how many stickers did Ben have? Answer 100. Okay, so model sharing. So when do I draw this kind of model? I draw this kind of model when there's a repeated identity, or there's a repeated person, right? Or there's a container and contents problem. Right? Container and content means you have something that you have a basket, you can have a jar, you can have flask, or you can have a box, and there is something put inside the box or something put in the flask like water. So when you have a question like this, right, then you can think of this model to draw. Okay, let's look at the last problem. All right, the next problem, and again there's an equal concept there. So Lynette had 93 pencils and pens. She gave away 3/4 of her pens and 28 pencils. So you can use the fraction. Every time you see a fraction, you can use that to draw the model. Then she had an equal number of pencils and pens left. So very important phrase which shows the equal concept. So every time you see equal number left, then you must always remember to have a dotted line for your model. So how many pencils did she have at first? Alright, so how do we draw? So if the first sentence you do not know how to draw, you can always jump to the next sentence. She gave away 3/4 of her pens. So the pens has a total of 4 boxes, alright, and she gave away 3 boxes. So I'm going to draw a dotted line to show the 3 boxes that were given away. Why do I draw a dotted line? Because this is the left and there is an equal number of pencils and pens left. So which means that when I draw the pencils left, how do I draw the leftover until the dotted line? So now you can see that you have equal pencils and also pens left. That's why the dotted line is very important. Once you have the dotted line, you will know how to draw the equal parts already. Alright, and of course, there must be more pencils, right? She sold 28 pencils. So let me label, or she gave away, right? She gave away 28 pencils, and now she had equal number of pencils and pens left. So how many pencils did she have at first? So your question mark is is over here. Okay, and of course, what do you call all the boxes that look the same? You call them 1 unit, right? That's why equal number left, which is 1 unit, 1 unit. And then the pens has altogether 4 units. And then what else do we need to put on the model? So remember the first sentence you can't draw. So whatever sentence you can't draw, you have to go back to the sentence and see whether can you add on to the model, which is the total number of pencils and pens. So we can add onto the model now. So and your model is done. Okay, this is how the model looks like, a very simple model drawing. So once you have done already, now, so how do you use the model to work out? Now, in the previous problem, I told you to always look for the difference, right? Sometimes you can look for the difference to work out the steps. Another way to look at the model is, can you add them all together? So number one, you look at the difference to see whether you can create any steps. But in this problem, you find that you can't really do that. You can't really find the difference between the pencil and the pens. So what is another way to use the model to continue to work out the steps is to find the total. So can you add up all the pencils and pens? Yeah, the pens has 4 units and the pencils has 1 unit and 28. So you add the whole model, add everything together, and that will give you the total 93. So lesson here, can you find the total in your model? Alright, so once you can do that, then the next step will be simple. So you have 5 units, that will be equal to 93 minus 28. So what is 93 minus 28? You will get 65. So your 1 unit will be 65 divided by 5, and your 1 unit is 13. So how many pencils did she have at first? Which is 1 unit plus 28. So you have 13 plus 28, so she must have 41 pencils at first. And that's how you solve the problem, easily. Alright, okay, so we come to the end of our model drawing lesson. So you can see that by now we have done quite a number of model drawing lessons already. So hopefully you have the confidence now. You have built the confidence to draw your model. So in the next coming lesson, we will continue to look at primary 3 and 4 model drawing, how to draw out the problem. So the best way to benefit from all this online lesson is to actually do the problem first, right? To try to draw out your own model first, solve the problem first before you watch the video. Then that'll be better, right? Because when you have tried on your own, when you have drawn on your own, and then you compare with my model, and then you will be able to see whether is it something similar. But always remember, your model drawing and my model drawing are different, right? Your model drawing can never be the same as mine, but in the end, we are all using the same method to solve the problem. Alright, so we come to the end of this model drawing lesson. So stay tuned for the next lesson, and I will see you next week.